We are here in the 34th Festival of EDON, a festival that takes place every year and gathers thousands of youth of Cyprus. Here this place is the international city of the festival, with comrades from a lot of organizations around the world, communist youth organizations, anti-imperialist youth organizations from everywhere around the world. You will meet the comrades from every place and every organization, and we are very glad to have you here with us this year.
All right. And also, what's going on here? What is this place? Can you explain something about this place?
This is the stand of the World Federation of Democratic Youth in the international city of the festival. We have some materials of Mufti, and of course our central poster is about imperialism in every part of the world, and the petition to free our comrades, the brothers Kononovic, who are arrested for 150 days almost by the Ukrainian regime, the Ukrainian government. By this time we want to petition to stand in favor of them to get free.
My name is Nikos. I am the representative of Palestinian Democratic Youth Union. I will use today this opportunities where we are participating at the 34th Festival of Student and Youth of EDON, to express our solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka for the current situation, and we as an organization and functioning on the level of the international solidarity and the struggle against of the imperialism, we expressing our support for the people of Sri Lanka, not only in the current situation, but always in the struggle of their right and their democracy, and we wish for the people of Sri Lanka to succeed their actions taken against of the current government, in order to
My name is EDON, this is Lara. We are members of the Young Communist League of Israel, connected to the Communist Party of Israel. We came here to the festival in Cyprus. You can see our stand, you can see our table. Mostly we came here to talk about the main conflict, the main problem we face in our country is the fight against the occupation, against the Israeli occupation of Palestine and the repression of Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank, as well as internal repression of Israel towards the Palestinian citizens in Israel, which is in fact the system of apartheid, a system which supports Jewish superiority, Jewish ethnic state, and discriminates Palestinians. I'm a Jew, and Lara is a Palestinian. One of the main pillars of our movement, of our youth group, and even also our party, is that we say that only together, both Jews and Arabs, we can achieve our goal, we can achieve true equality and peace, which is the true goal of both people and the true wish for the betterment of both people. Since Israeli government, Zionism, is the ideology of capitalism, of exploitation, of racism, and of discrimination. And we cannot fight against only the economic side without talking about the base of it, about that we must fight for equal society for all.
And just tell me about your organization and what is it, your name of the organization?
As I said, our organization, Young Communist League of Israel, is an organization which is of Jews and Arabs together, left communist movement which fights. First of all, we are organized all over the country, from the south to the north. We have branches for all ages. We begin even child and until 28. Our movement fights against discrimination against women, against violence against women. We fight for against the occupation. As I said, we fight against occupation. We fight against each time there is a war. There is that the occupation becomes even more violent, even more bringing death. We go to the streets. We shout in Arabic and in Hebrew our call for peace, for end of the violence, and for end of the occupation. We don't have many stands, many things on our stand because of lost luggage. But the things that we have on our stand are like we have, first of all, stickers, which are from the home of our Arabic newspaper Al Ittihad, and it is the main Arabic left-wing newspaper, which it was the only newspaper that worked during the martial law in the 50s. It's very old, very popular, and it's stickers. For example, socialism. Socialism. Socialism is the goal, or for example, the beautiful are the revolutionary. As well, you can see workers of the world unite. يومان العالم اتحدوا. And here you can see, here you can start from here. You can see Handala, which is one of the symbols of Palestinian resistance against the occupation. As well as you can see it here, it is the flag of Palestine, and it is the historical map of Palestine. As I said, the flag should be like this, but the map is like this.
All right.
Behind you have the historical cities of Palestine all over. This is, as I said, the symbol of Palestinian resistance. The child Handala, and this is after here we have like some more stickers of revolutionaries.
What is the name of this?
My name's Rourke. I'm the Vice National Chairperson of the Colony Youth Movement. We're here today representing CYM at the 34th EDON Festival. So that's about it for me.
My name's Rachel. I'm the National Women's Officer. I'm also the Cork Branch Secretary. So myself and Rourke are both from the branch in Cork. The Connolly Youth Movement is an all-Ireland organisation, so it's for youth. It's 16 to 30 age is the age pool from which we recruit. We are fighting for peace and socialism in Ireland, which involves the reunification on the island of Ireland. So in Ireland at the moment, we would identify the primary contradiction as being imperialism, and that needs to be resolved before the struggle for socialism can be complete, which is quite difficult at the moment. The north of Ireland is still occupied by the British, so British legal system, British police force, British currency, everything. So it's quite difficult, but we have two branches in the north of Ireland that are very active, with the kind of in mass work is our focus at the moment. So engaging with the community is really a priority for us at the moment, because for people to come to us and trust us, they must know we're there.
And also tell something about your organization.
So this is our leaflet. We are a Marxist-Leninist organisation founded in 1963. We would have suffered quite a bit after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, but preceding that we would have been very involved in like civil rights and anti-war movements, particularly in the north of Ireland, but a lot of anti-war movements like opposition to the Vietnam War, where like American ships and British ships would have come into harbours in Ireland before going over and committing quite grievous crimes upon the Vietnamese people. We are an island nation, so we can be quite isolated at times. We have pretty good relations with the Cubans. We had a delegation sent over there about 2 weeks ago, and they stayed for 2 weeks and attended a hunger strike monument to Irish hunger strikers. We are growing as a movement quite recently, which has been really refreshing, but obviously the reason for that isn't great. It's because of recession. So economic hardship is a serious issue in Ireland with the last few months. Gas, heating, kind of the cost of transport, the cost of living, basic necessities are getting very expensive, and wages are stagnating, so they're really not coming kind of like with how expensive things are getting. So there's quite a lot of people after the COVID kind of like crisis, or the core of it, who are really, really suffering from like what we call fuel poverty, particularly elderly people who are often kind of forced to choose between heating their home and being able to feed themselves. We're finding quite a lot of children are experiencing poverty as well at the moment.
And also, how you feel about this situation? I mean, how you feel about this place? What do you have to... Yeah, tell it.
Cyprus, we're really, really inspired by the party's work and their connection with the masses. It's not something we've really gotten to see on such a large scale before. Just this kind of connection with the masses and the trust that the masses have in the party is something we find really inspiring, and something we'd really like to kind of be able to build up to ourselves. We find that the issues Cyprus faces, such as like the issue of the Cyprus problem, you know, the division of the country, has a lot of similarities, and so it's very useful to talk to like the Cypriots here and members of EDON about kind of similarities between the two of us.
Of our namesake, James Connolly, he is an Irish communist revolutionary who was involved in the 1916 uprising in Ireland, an uprising which unfortunately failed but has since inspired many revolts like it. Here we have just our logo on a badge. Here we have Pride as a protest and Hammer and Sickle. So the CYM organises its own alternative Pride every year to set ourselves apart from corporate Pride, which is inspired by, or was sponsored by major monopoly companies like Smirnoff and others. So just a reminder to people that Pride is in fact a protest and not something that fits into the capitalist system. So here we have another Pride related one, which is queer liberation through national liberation. So obviously
This one?
yes,
Alright.
so obviously tying it into the fact that, you know, all things are interrelated, and that first we must resolve the national question in Ireland. That's our main focus at the moment, for everything else to kind of fall into place, I suppose. And here is just a logo of our international organisation, so WFDY, World Federation of Democratic Youth, which we are proud members of. So here we have a sticker that says "Don't emigrate, agitate." So for most of Irish history, since the famine, really, emigration has been a massive issue, with the Irish population being halved by the famine from 8 million to 4 million, and it's only slowly kind of growed back recently, with the last census being, I think, the first census in 10 years where the population has actually increased. So emigration has always been a massive issue in Ireland. So we're kind of encouraging people to stay and change the system rather than moving abroad. Here we have another sticker that says, "The days have passed, we're patching up the capitalist system, it must go." Again, another quote from James Connolly, our organisation's namesake. And here finally is just a leaflet with a nice little design on it that says COIM, and then all the things that we stand for. So socialist republicanism, which we would believe or claim is, you know, the expression of Marxism, Leninism in the Irish context. And we have a very proud tradition of being socialist republicans and involvement in the socialist republican movement, and then all the things we're for, so jobs, housing, healthcare, women's liberation, queer liberation, national liberation, and peace.
My name is Nestor. I'm from UJC, the Community Jobs Union of Spain. I am the head of the International Relations Department, and I'm here on the Festival of EDON as a representative of the organization, but also as a, you know, one more people attending the festival. And yeah, well, we're here with our, you know, our t-shirts, our thing, in order to, you know, like share a little experience and a little of our materials to the rest of the comrades from Cyprus, but also for the other parts of the world.
And also, tell something about yourself and who you are, your name.
Well, I'm Hugo. I belong to the same organization as Nestor, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
All right. And also, tell something about your country and other stuff. Yeah.
Yes, okay, well, in Spain nowadays we identify, we have, I mean, there are of course a lot of conflicts, a lot of problems, but some of those that we think they are the most important are, first of all, that we have a big, important, or very difficult housing problem. In order to get rent for yourself or for your family or for whatever, you have to pay a lot, more than the minimum wage even, so it's very difficult, especially for young generations and for working young people, to get a home and to actually can, you know, have a decent life.
Yeah.
Also, we have like very, as I said, very low wages, so you cannot most of the time pay your rent and other things. And yeah, of course, I mean, this is a big more, you know, political thing, but the membership of Spain into the European Union and NATO puts us in the middle of all the imperialist conflicts in the world. So I mean, we are like in the center of all the big problems, and yeah, we're trying to fight against it.
All right.
So also another thing that is from actuality, like 2 months ago, the Spanish government, well, at least the Socialist Party, stopped recognizing the right of self-determination to the Sahrawi people and the Western Sahara, and more or less recognized or supported the plan of Morocco to annex the region. We stand in solidarity with the Western Sahara because, I mean, of course, Spain, as the ex-colonial power, has a special responsibility with this situation. The Spanish state and the Spanish oligarchy once betrayed the Sahrawi people 50 years ago, not helping them in order to be free from the Moroccan occupation. And now, 50 years later, again, another betrayal. Our country just stopped recognizing the right of self-determination and just accepted that Morocco annexed the region because of economic interest, because there are Spanish companies exploiting the resources of Western Sahara, and they are interested in maintaining their profits. And we stand against that, and we want to show our solidarity with the Western Sahara people and the Western Sahara movement, the Polisario Front. So this is our book from our centenary, which was last year. It's very nice because it's like more or less the history of our organization in Spain for the last 100 years. And also it's very interesting because it's not, it's a collective work. It is written by 8 different comrades. Some of them were general secretaries of our organization, others are from the party, etc. And it's very, very nice because, I mean, you have a collective work, a collective achievement. Then we have these notebooks, we also from our centenary. This is a poster from the Civil War, from the People's Republican Army, and the Unified Socialist Youth, which was the name of our organization during these times. And yeah, it's a little notebook. The backward part, these are the names of a lot of comrades that have a significant role in the organization of the trade union movement, of social movement, and of the parties. Some of them, lots of them were actually repressed and even executed by the fascist dictatorship. So it's a way of honoring them.
So those are some t-shirts?
Yeah, we have plenty of t-shirts.
All right.
We have this one. This is the most recent one. It's fuck OTAN, which is NATO in Spanish, and with this this motto, which is ni guerra entre pueblos ni paz entre clases, which could be translated as neither war between peoples, neither peace between classes.
All right.
And it's this design, like very fancy, very nice. Also, we have Yuri Gagarin. It's easy to know him. There is not much more to say. The Karl Marx again. This was we did this T-shirt for our festival like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. The sentence is the classic one: "Proletarians of the world unite." Then we have another one. This is very simple T-shirt, working class with the logo. It's very, very nice indeed. This is the flag, the historical flag of our organization during the Civil War and part of the dictatorship. It is the Juventud Socialista Unificada, the Unified Socialist Youth, which was the merger of the Communist Youth and the Socialist Youth during these years. And it was a very important milestone in our organization. Then we have, on the left, another T-shirt with the democracy culture, with for a way to denounce Western imperialism, especially because we have Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and Syria, which were like, when we did this T-shirt, it was like the 4 main places where the United States and the NATO, all the democracy thing, the regime change and all that. And it's like a joke, Another T-shirt, is all the power for the working class. And in the image is the Aurora cruiser, the first battleship that started the revolution in Russia in the 1917. We did that T-shirt for the centenary of the revolution, indeed. And also we have, last of all, this brace hand and these pins. The brace hand is, the motto is "La revolución no se hace, sino que se organiza," which means revolution is not done, it is organized. Something like that, which is a Lenin quote, more or less. Then the pin, which is secular pin.
All right, thank you very much for the hand this time. All right.